What's up, guys? It's Joel again. Today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of each engine option that came in the SN95. First, we're gonna go find a nice shady parking lot to go film in. All right, guys, we're gonna be going down the list of all all four engine options that you could get in the SN95. The first one that we're gonna go ahead and just kind of knock off the list is the 3.8 liter V6. If you're really balling on a budget, or you're not really interested in power or sound or anything like that, the V6 can be a fine option. It's a good engine. You know, less weight in the front technically. You can still modify them, but it's kind of pointless when you could have just got a 2-valve or anything else. It's fine. If you want to build just like a basic drift car or something and all you care about is only one thing, it's a fine engine. But we're gonna knock it off this list because it's not a V8. So next up on this list is going to be the 5.0, the pushrod 5.0 that you could get in this and the Fox body. Same engine, but they put it in this because this is technically Fox body chassis. So is the Newedge technically, but anyways, 5.0 came in this. Some of the main points of the 5.0 is that it's just like the 4.6, it's got a lot of modding capability. The positives of the pushrod 5.0 is that it's been around a long time and it's got a lot of even honestly maybe even more modding capability. Since it only has a single cam down in the block, just like a normal LS style engine, you only have to buy one cam. The springs are cheap. You put a carb, or if it's fuel injected, obviously in this it's fuel injected, you know, injectors, heads, cams, springs, long tubes, and you have a really, really decent car. And from what I've understood, a fully built NA 5.0 is one, easier to build, as well as, I believe, cheaper to build than the 2-valve 4.6. So this list isn't necessarily in any type of order, it's just kind of what you prefer. If you really like more of an old school pushrod V8, you like the noise they make, you like how easy they are to modify, if all you really care about is just NA power, the 5.0 is a fantastic option. Next up on this list is, of course, gonna be the 2-valve 4.6. The 2-valve 4.6 came out with the SN95, I believe. It might have came out earlier with some of the other platforms, but I know that the first Mustang that had a modular 4.6 was the SN95. The 2-valve 4.6 is a great motor. It's the first time I believe that Ford really put out don't quote me on this I guess, but an overhead cam V8, more modern. At the time, the cars that was competing with, Camaro, was still a pushrod V8, so this was a more modern style engine. They sound phenomenal. They do take power mods decently well. I'm not saying these don't have a lot of power. I mean, they came, at least the SN95, 200-ish horsepower, heads, you know, long tubes, cams, intake stuff. You can push 300 in A if you put in some money. But realistically, on a 2-valve, you might as well just do basic bolt-ons and go straight for a blower, a turbo kit, or anything like that. And it's just immediately cheaper and easier. They'll accept boost pretty well. I believe that you can be in the 400-ish horsepower mark, 450, with no major reliability issues. Once you start to push 450 is when you might start shooting rods through blocks. And then you can look at forged options or even stroker motors. Now the last one on this list is of course going to be the Cobra motor, which is the 4-valve 4.6 liter engine. These came in the Mach 1s for the Newedges, and then in the Cobras for the SN95s, but also the Cobras for the Newedges. They also had a Mach 1. I might be wrong. I don't believe these came with a Mach 1 option. I'm pretty sure it was just a Cobra was what you could get a 4-valve in. Those engines produce a decent amount of power more than a 2-valve does, bone stock, and they're ready to have a blower put on them, and they love boost. If you're looking for a platform that's just ready to go and you have the money, Cobra all the way. Get a Cobra, throw a blower on it, get it tuned, and you're done. You make 400 something horsepower and you're gonna have a great time. You got a good handling car, you got plenty of horsepower, it sounds fantastic, and it's not gonna lose its value. Such a good engine, but I wouldn't put it at the top of the list. It depends on what you're looking for. The 2-valve and the 5.0, in my opinion, are the best engines for this car. The 4-valve is also a fantastic engine for the car, and I would love to have a Cobra, but it's not necessarily what I need. I don't really need it. You're gonna have a harder time finding parts for it. Junkyards are gonna be a little harder to find because you're gonna have to get newer Fords that came with the 4 valves already in them. And I believe they're just gonna be a little more harder to work on, just a bigger motor. You got a dual overhead cam setup in it. So it's a little bit harder of a motor, but it is gonna make more power. So if you're just looking to make power and have a good time, 4-valve is a great option. If you want to stay to a budget, make close to the same power, or you can still make the same power as the Cobra. But if you want to just stay lower power, have a good handling car, and have some fun, 5.0 or 4.2 valve is the way to go. So in short, just to sum it up, the 3.8 liter V6 is just the entry level beginner, don't want a V8, just want the Mustang body car. And then it goes to the 5.0, the pushrod 5.0. You want an old school engine, you want to do bolt-on mods, you want to enjoy the last pushrod motor that Ford put in a Mustang and just have an old school car with a more of a modern body. Great choice. You want a good daily V8 vehicle that you can make good power with, it sounds good, it's going to be reliable, 2-valve 4.6. And of course, if you're a collector or you're just a power fiend, you got to go with a Cobra with a 4-valve 4.6. I think that is going to sum up my little talk today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you got a little bit of useful information out of it in order to make a better decision. If I went back in time and was going to buy a different Mustang and I had the choice, this one came upon me for a really good deal and I didn't really care what engine option it had, I just bought it. But if I had the option, it would actually still be a pretty hard choice between the 5.0 and the 4.6, just because the 5.0 is honestly such a fun motor, and I love old school pushrod V8s. They're just fun to work on, they're easy to work on, they're enjoyable. So that's my take on it. Let me know in the comments what engine you have or what engine you want. And let's kind of talk about why you think that a certain engine's better than another one. Of course, I can't leave you guys without a little bit of POV footage of the Mustang getting down.